This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello, I'm Tinsay Gabriel, your host for this hour's news. Stay tuned. Let's start with Somalia. Somalia is strengthening port governance with the enforcement of mandatory use of the electronic cargo tracking note. Since later September, the system introduced in February 2023 has become compulsory for all imports and exports passing through the country's ports, according to notice from the Ministry of Ports and Maritime Transport. Importers must now obtain an E-CTN through the official platform, ctnsomalia.com, before any loading or unloading, and the number must appear on the bill of lading. Any shipment without a valid electronic certificate will be rejected. The government warns that violators face fines, asset seizures, license suspensions, or criminal prosecution under current legislation. Designed to improve transparency in trade flows, strengthen maritime security, and combat fraud, the E-CTN also plays a strategic re-centralization role. Zimbabwe's Minister of Agriculture has inaugurated a new hatchery at the Metapos Research Institute near Bulawayo, according to local daily The Herald. The government did not disclose the cost of the facility, which was developed under a technical cooperation program with the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. Milton Mukumbe, Director of Fisheries and Agriculture Resource Department, said the hatchery can produce 2.7 million fingerlings a year and is currently operating at 75% of capacity. The investment is intended to improve farmers' access to fingerlings and support growth in the sector. Under its National Development Plan, adopted in May 2025, the government aims to raise local tilapia output to 14,000 tons by 2032. The Moroccan government launched a program last week to support investment funds that back startups, Digital Transition Ministry said. Digital Transition and Administrative Reform Minister Amal El Falha Sagrochini oversaw the signing of an agreement between her ministry, the Ministry of Economy and Finance, the Mohammed VI Investment Fund, and the state fund CDG. The facility is meant to spur the creation and financing of funds focused on innovative young firms while reducing risks for private investors. The aim is to create a more attractive environment to mobilize capital as Moroccan startups still struggle to access formal financing, especially at early stage and growth stage levels. The initiative is part of the Maroc Digital 2030 strategy, which seeks to help produce 1 or 2 unicorns, startups valued at $1 billion or more by 2030. It also aims to increase the number of startups in the country to at least 3,000 and help the ecosystem rise to $753.5 million by that year. British International Investment, the United Kingdom's development finance institution, and South Africa Bank First Rand have announced a $150 million financing facility to accelerate energy transition projects in Africa. The initiative, announced on Tuesday, is BII's first investment dedicated to transition finance. It aims to help carbon-intensive companies access the funding needed to decarbonize their operations. BII will provide both financial support and technical assistance to First Rand to help establish a structured framework and practices for transition financing. The facility will be deployed through the group's investment and merchant banking subsidiaries, Rand Merchant Bank and First National Bank. It will comply with British policy on overseas fossil fuel financing. The initiative also aims to raise awareness of transition finance in the African market and position it as a new asset class that could inspire other financial institutions on the continent. Now to business news. Gabon, France, and European Union signed an agreement Monday for a €203 million program to modernize and secure the Trans-Gabonese Railway. The agreement was announced in a statement released during French President Emmanuel Macron's official visit to Libreville. The funding package consists of a €173 million sovereign loan from the French Development Agency and a €30 million grant from the European Union. The primary goal of the program is to improve the reliability and safety of the 648-kilometer line connecting Libreville to Franceville. The investments will address unstable sections, upgrade critical infrastructure, and increase the network's capacity to up to 16 train paths per day or 8 trains in each direction. The project also includes modernizing passenger stations and strengthening the institutional capacity of the state and SETRAG, the railway network operator. Guinea has launched a $172.6 million bond to strengthen domestic financing and deepen its public and securities market, the Minister of Economy and Finance said last week. The minister said the issuance aims to reinforce domestic financing and develop the public securities market. Officials structured the operation at par value and in dematerialized form, in line with practices already applied on the Guinean market. The bond consists of 300,000 securities, each carrying a nominal value of 5 million GNF. Authorities opened the subscription window from November 24 to December 24, 2025, allowing banks, issuers, companies, and retail investors to participate. The government set the bond's maturity at 5 years with a fixed annual interest rate of 11%. It will repay principal yearly using a constant amortization schedule, and it will distribute interest payments once per year. Moving on to sports, Zambia national team head coach Moses Sichon has unveiled his 55-member provisional squad for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The 55-member list is a respect of the CAF deadline for teams to submit their provisional squads ahead of the AFCON, which will take place from December 21 to January 18. Sichon drafted 21-year-old Manchester City defender Jadel Katongo and Australian-based Kalichi, who became an instant hit with fans for his promising goal exploits on his debut call for Zambia during the just-ended FIFA window, where he netted his debut goal for Chipolopolo. The call-ups for Katonge and Lane are part of the wider diaspora talent search program undertaken by FAS in an effort to reinforce the national team. Zambia has a Group A alongside Morocco, Mali, and Comoros. That's all for this time. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.